y'all, what's up? My name is Avery and today I am here to bring y'all my very late August wrap up. Yes, it's been a while since August, so I don't remember a few of these books just because a few of them didn't leave that quite of an impact on me, so we'll see how this goes. But in total I read 12 books, so let's get started. So the first 3 books that I read were a part of the booktubeathon. I only completed 2 challenges and then read an extra book for the booktubeathon, so I didn't really complete a lot. I will link my video down below for that vlog. I think it's a vlog. So the first book that I read during the booktubeathon was Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Of course, this is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. This is just a collection of poems and artwork done by Shel Silverstein that I just grew up with as a kid, and I thought that it would be a really fun book to reread during the booktubeathon, and I just loved it. It's just stories that kids would really love, and I still love them to this day. And since this was the first book that I read during the booktubeathon, it completed the challenge for the flip a coin and pick the one that won the coin toss, I think. Yeah, there you go. The second book that I read for the booktubeathon was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, and this completed the challenge for Read a Book with a Beautiful Spine, because look at this, it's so pretty and cute. And it also completed the challenge for Read a Book and watch the movie adaptation. I watched Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the classic cartoon edition. I loved it as much as I did as a kid. I actually listened to this book on audio, and it was narrated by Scarlett Johansson on Audible, and I absolutely adored it. She did an amazing job making all the voices for all the hilarious and funny characters. And of course, I gave this classic book a 5 out of 5 stars. And the third and final book that I read during the booktubeathon was Barbarians Touched by Ruby Dixon. I've actually been talking a lot about Ice Planet Barbarian series for a while now. Actually, this month, I think I read 4 of them, and that was maybe the first week of the month. So it has been over a month since I've read this series actually, so I don't remember a lot. I haven't even completed it yet. I want to, hopefully. I think I got off my high of paranormal alien romance books, and I'm now on more of the contemporary mindset right now, so we'll see when I get back to those, but I hope to soon. But anyway, this book is the 7th book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, the part that it completed kind of in the booktubeathon. I didn't really complete it, but it was a part of the separate books that I had to complete the goal to read 7 books, because by the time I reached the end of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, I was like, I won't reach 7 books, so I may as well read the book I mostly want to read on this list. And at the time, it was an Ice Planet Barbarian book. I actually talk about this series as a whole because I read the first book in July in my July wrap-up, so I will link my July wrap-up down below for y'all to check out if you want to get to know this series more. Basically, it's a paranormal alien romance series, like I said, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The 4th book that I read in August was Barbarians Taming by Ruby Dixon, which I also gave a 3 out of 5 stars to. Next was Barbarians Heart by Ruby Dixon, which I also gave a 3 out of 5 stars to. And the 6th book that I read in August was Barbarians Hope by Ruby Dixon, which is the 10th book in the series, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars to. Okay, we're done with Ice Planet Barbarians, finally. I read them all at the beginning of the month, so I won't be talking about them for the rest of the video. You're welcome. But the next book that I read is my new favorite read of the year, and that is Roomies by Christina Lauren. I love this book so much. Basically, this is all about a woman named Holland Baker who makes up excuses to go down to the subway station that's not really near anything she goes to in hopes to sneak a peek at the street musician that she secretly had a crush on for forever. But she doesn't really have the nerve to kind of like put herself out there or talk to him. But then, kind of like an incident happens on the subway station with Calvin, the musician, and Holland present, and Holland kind of gets attacked, and Calvin comes to her rescue, but he quickly disappears when the police start asking questions. To pay Calvin back for essentially rescuing her, she decides to introduce him to her uncle, who is a very, very famous Broadway musical director. The audition that Calvin goes through is absolutely amazing, and everyone can't wait to work with him until the fact is revealed as to why he's being so secretive and running away kind of from law enforcement, and that is because he's in the country illegally with his student visa expiring years ago. And since Holland really wants to make her uncle and Calvin's dreams come true, a wild idea blossoms in her mind. She marries him, with him not knowing her infatuation. So as their relationship evolves and Calvin essentially becomes the darling of Broadway, in the middle of theatrics and acting not acting, you have to find out if Holland and Calvin will realize that they stopped pretending a while ago. I really love this book. I've only read Beautiful Bastard and Beautiful Stranger by Christina Lauren. Well, at the time I read this book, I had only read A Beautiful Bastard, so I was really much used to the kind of like steamy times that Christina and Lauren wrote. So I don't know what I was expecting in this book. I've heard really great things about it, but I didn't know it would be like so cute and so good. Like, this book made me stop binging alien romance novels and got me more into the contemporary type again that like I'm obsessed with now. And like, it's not like Beautiful Bastard, like look how many tabs are in there. They're not like 25, you know what I mean? And if you are new to this channel, tabs in my books means kissing scenes, essentially. I love to revisit those. I'm a hopeless romantic, okay? But I really, really, really loved this book and totally recommend it. And it was also so amazing because I raved about this book on Twitter. Also, I forgot to tell y'all, I actually got a Twitter. I never told y'all I got a Twitter. It'll be linked down below in my social section, but I tweeted about how much I loved this book, and Christina Lauren liked my tweet. I'm like dead. The 8th book that I read in August was Determined Prince by Michelle M. Pillow. I read this because it was free on Amazon, and I love my free on Amazon books because you don't have to spend money to read a book. I did not enjoy this book. This is basically about a prince from a planet that isn't Earth, and he transports to Earth and steals a woman because the women on his planet are becoming extinct. And she kind of gets married against her will, like she's knocked out, like not conscious when they're married, and she doesn't even know who this person is. I just found myself cringing throughout like most of this book. And I don't even think that a love connection should have formed in this situation. He essentially stole her. For her to fall for him was like way too short of a time anyway. Even if it was like a fated mate book. Like, this was not a good fated mate book at all. I didn't even get like the inkling that it was a fated mate book. It was just like, this man stole her to be his wife. Like, no. And the thing that like mostly made me so upset was like when men ask women to call them their master. That I just think is gross. Gross. He does. He kidnaps her and basically tells her, oh, you have to call me master. Disgusting. It's gross. Ugh. This book was a 1 star. The next book that I read in August was Dragon's Baby by Miranda Martin and Juno Wells. And this is the first book in the Red Planet Dragons of Jas. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. This is all about a woman named Callista who is perfectly content and happy being a researcher on a spaceship in the middle of space. And things are fine for her until her spaceship gets attacked by space pirates, and the ship and everyone on it ends up crash landing onto a desert planet that has like intense heat. Our other main character is Layden, who is a Zamaj warrior who basically resigned to live his life alone. Like, he's accepted the fact, and he's known for protecting all of the treasures that he finds. His hopes for finding a mate faded a long time ago, but when he sees Callista, something stirs in him. It takes no more than one look to know that Callista belongs to him. He's been alone for so long, but Callista is the ultimate treasure, and he will do whatever it takes to protect her. But there's one small problem, and that is Callista going to live long enough for her to understand what Landon is trying to say? This book was kind of very similar to Ice Planet Barbarians series that I talked about earlier. It wasn't really that memorable, to be honest. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. I found so many similarities with the other series, and I believe the other series was written before this one, and I don't know, it wasn't that interesting to me. I don't know if I'll continue on with the next books, so we'll see. The 10th book that I read in August was A Baby for the Alien Prince by Miranda Martin. I decided to pick up another book by Miranda Martin because she did write she was one of the writers for the book that I just talked about, Dragon's Baby. So I decided to give her a shot, see what she was made of, basically. And this cover is kind of misleading. She's not like pregnant like at all throughout this book, which stinks because I love pregnancy books. Like, I just love them, okay? Basically, this takes place on another planet that houses the Alvin race, which is essentially dying out. There have been no new births on the planet in years, and if they don't do something soon about it, their planet is doomed, essentially. So in this book, an alien is kind of forced into an arranged setup marriage to see if Earthwoman can fix this problem, and this woman from Earth is just trying to escape her life of poverty and to hopefully make her dreams come true, which is to have a child. Some things I really enjoyed about it: I really enjoyed their connection that they had, the two main characters. I somewhat enjoyed that, and I was hooked from the beginning, but it fell a little flat towards the middle and end. I just thought there were some things in there that weren't essentially necessary for the story. We also don't really get to know the main characters all that well, as much as I would have liked to, because it is quite a short book. And the thing that bugged me the most was that we never really got an explanation as to why he's attracted to the girl. I don't remember their names. Deal with me right now. It was like the first moment that he met her, like he wanted to basically essentially jump her, and you know what I mean. Is it just because she's a woman that he wants to be with her? Like, we didn't really get reasons as to why, you know what I mean? I did enjoy the writing style though, even though there were a few grammatical errors here and there that I did pick up on. I'm a very nitpicky person, and I can tell that very easily. But overall, it was a very enjoyable read, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The 11th book that I read in August was A Beautiful Stranger by Christina Lauren. This is the second book in the Beautiful Bastard series, but you don't really need to read them in order if you don't want to. I recommend it just for like enjoyment quality. You'd probably enjoy it way more if you did read the previous books, because characters from other books make cameos in this one. This is all about our main character, Sarah Dillon, who has moved to New York City to escape her ex-fiance. And she's looking for excitement and passion and just to like let herself be free from her cheating ex. So meeting a really sexy and irresistible British man at a dance club shouldn't be more than just like a night's worth of fun. But the manner and speed at which he melts her inhibitions turns him from a one-night stand into her beautiful stranger. Our other main character is Max Stella, and everyone in the city knows that he loves women, but he's never been good or found a woman to keep around. But it's not until he meets Sarah that he starts thinking maybe could something happen outside of the bedroom. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a great next installment of the series, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The 12th and final book that I read in August was His Old Fashioned by Frankie Love. This was a free book on Amazon. I don't know if it is still free. Maybe go check that out if this interests you. Basically, this is all about a guy named Levi who is stuck in Las Vegas, even though he's not a city person at all. He's a mountain man, as they call him in this book. But he is stuck in the city because his brother is getting married, so he's there for any party. So he thinks that he'll just have some fun while he's here, and his little cocktail waitress Lucy is probably the most fit for him for filling the bill of having fun. But she's an old-fashioned girl who tells him that she won't do the deed until she's walked down the aisle. This was way too insta-lovey for me. If you read the book, you know how long it takes for them to essentially do the deed. And there was a bunch of this book that I just thought was totally unnecessary. Like, there's one part of the book where she has a different profession that, like, we didn't need that. Like, I can't tell y'all, it's like spoilery, but we didn't need that part in the book. Like, it didn't make it better or worse. Kind of did make it worse though, actually. And overall, I just thought it was too short of a book. Maybe if she made it a little longer, it would have been better. Overall, I thought it was okay, so I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. So there you have it. Those were all 12 books that I read in August. Please let me know down below if you're planning on reading any of these books, or if you already have, because I would love to talk to you about them in the comments section down below. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see y'all soon in the next video. Bye!